All right, good morning, Team Inspired. This is our team call for November 19th. Today's topic is Diamond in 90 Days, and we're going to have Jen Huston on the call, who just hit Diamond last week, and she's going to share some of her tips, her story, and a roadmap so that anyone else can do the same. Before I pass this along to Jen, though, I do want to go over a couple things for the team. We're getting close to the end of the month, and I was looking at Success Club numbers, and we are definitely behind where we're usually at. So far we've got Jen, Janelle, Stacy, and Natasha at Success Club. And it looks like for the rest of the team, it's a pretty slow start, but I want to remind you guys something that I've realized. I either have a really strong start or a strong finish. So wherever you're at today, you absolutely could completely turn that number around by the end of the month. Now, here's how I'm going to help you guys do that. We've never done this before, and I'm so excited to be doing it. So pay attention and take notes. We've done coach sneak peeks, right? Where we invite coaches, we invite prospective coaches to a private Facebook page, and we say, hey, my coach is going to go live. She's going to share everything you want to know about coaching. Well, I'm going to do a challenge sneak peek on Tuesday night. I chose Tuesday, and I'm going to tell you guys why, because a lot of people are not working on Wednesday, and they're going to be scrolling through Facebook bored at home. I can tell you that right now. So Tuesday night, I want you guys, I'm going to build a new page today. I want you guys to start reaching out to anyone that's ever thought about a challenge. You can post it on your Facebook page. And I want you to say, hey guys, have you ever wondered about what these challenges are? My coach is going to go live on a private page and tell you everything you want to know so you can make a decision. Okay, I am going to do a raffle Tuesday night, okay? It's going to be for a 10-pack of pre-workout Energize, the little 10-pack. And you don't have to say what it is. I would just say she is raffling off a fun product. And I'll probably throw some Shakeology in there, okay guys? So it'll be a nice little raffle. I want to get like 100 people onto this page. Like, do not hold back. I'm hoping every single coach can invite 15, 20 people. I am going to go live through Zoom like I did with the coach sneak peek, and I'm going to have a presentation that's going to have before and afters. It's going to have success quotes in there. I'm going to talk about how we do recipe shares. All of that's going to be in a presentation form, so they really get excited. And then I'm going to really close with the fact that do not wait till January to join us, because if you join us today, you actually get the January pack included. So do not wait. Don't be one of those people. Don't be part of the other 100 people that are going to join us in January. Get started before that now, so we can give you that one-on-one attention and you can go into January ahead of the game. Okay. Before we move on, any questions about this challenge sneak peek? I'll set I haven't picked the time yet because we also have a new coach training that night. So I'll send the time out on Team Inspired as soon as I figure out my calendar. But any questions from anybody? You guys feel comfortable inviting people? Yeah? Yes? Okay. Do you guys think this is going to help? You guys too tired to talk today? Stacy, you're unmuted. I got it.
Okay. I was writing my question, or it was a request. When you post the information on Team Inspired, can you just kind of reiterate that information that you just said as far as like how to present it to people?
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, there's a lot of coaches that aren't on here. So yes, I will definitely do that and go over what to expect in the challenge sneak peek. So brand new coach, or you've been a coach for a while, it doesn't matter. It's the same exact message. It's I just participated in a challenge, maybe you would say, and I'm excited to invite you to join the next one. If you're clueless on what that is, or you're curious on what that is, this is a private page. My coach is going to share everything you need to know about what to expect in a challenge. And I know that she's going to raffle off a couple cool prizes. So I highly recommend, if you're interested, you join this private group and watch her live video tonight. Now, for you guys, for coaches, we have a really short window of time after that. So make sure you're reaching out to people that night, immediately after I go live, and trying to close those challenge packs, because you can follow up probably Wednesday morning as well. And after that, people are probably going to go dark on you. They're going to get our messages, but they may not respond because now all of a sudden they're in like Thanksgiving mode. So we have a short window of time where we want to really strike while the iron is hot. Okay. It's not going to be one of those things where watch the video later. Like, I don't want us to do it like the coach sneak peek, because we really should be talking to challengers. So you've got to be live. You've got to catch me live, and I'm going to give them things to comment on it below, like while I'm live, to be eligible for the raffle. Like, you have to catch me live. Okay. I might give them like a 30-minute window or an hour, but it's not going to be like, watch it next week and you get to be part of a raffle. Okay. All right. Now let's talk about rank advancement. So I want this training to stick around for brand new coaches. So I'm going to go back to basics real quick and talk about why rank is important. So first of all, if you think about everything that we do, it's all about doubling our efforts and tripling our efforts. So when you're the only one that's doing all the work and you're out there helping people with their weight loss journey and their health journey, there's only one of you. But if you can build a team, for example, like Team Inspired, now you have people that you are training to go out there and reach out to people they know, and they're doing the same with people they know. So you are not only duplicating your efforts, but you are multiplying by hundreds, right? Now, the beauty of that for me goes a little bit further than simply the fact that all of us can do a lot more work than just me by myself. It's that personally, I would rather be a leader than a salesperson. Part of our job is always going to be invite people and do those things that each of us individually have to do, but it's a lot more fun to lead a team. And that's why you want to become a leader. The very first rank in Beachbody is Emerald rank. And you should strive to hit that in your first week as a coach. If you're a coach today listening and you're going, I've been a coach for 6 months and I'm not Emerald, so what? Pretend that today is day one. The very first coach on my team was my husband, and then my second was my maid of honor. They did not work this business, but I told them they're going to be coaches, and that's how you hit Emerald rank. The next rank is Diamond. Diamond is what we're going to talk about today. And Diamond is when you have 8 coaches on your team, and 2 of those 8 are Emerald coaches. Okay, so 2 of your 8 are Emerald coaches. Diamond is the next step in a series of different rank advancements. And Jen became a coach on August 30th, and I know that date because it was my birthday, and we've been talking for a while, and I finally said, I think you should do this on my birthday because that would be really special. And she did. So she was able to hit Diamond by November, which is on our team, a very fast Diamond progression. I want her to talk about what she did to get there, and she's going to give tips whether you're a brand new coach or you've been around for a while. So I'm going to pass it along to Jen. And the first thing I'm going to ask you, Jen, is I want you to start at the very beginning. When you first started this journey, and why did you set this goal, and what did you do? Like, what was the first thing that you did?
All right. Well, good morning, everyone. I am really excited to share with you. And I was talking to Z earlier, and I want to let you know, like, I'm just going to be real with you. I'm going to share the good stuff, the like not so fun stuff, the obstacles, because there was a lot that came along. So the first question is the why, like why I set this goal. And that's like, I think the most important thing that I'll say, the number one thing is to set a goal. So when I started this journey, I knew at the time I was working corporate. I'm a single mom. So I have a 10-year-old son, and I was working a corporate job in different states every other week. I was on the road all the time. And I knew that this was going to be a long-term thing for me. Like, I wanted to treat it like a business. I wanted to build my team quick, move to the top of the company. But I had that like sense of urgency, I guess you would say, right there. Like, okay, here's my plan. Z and I mapped it out. What do I need to do? And, but the why was, I want out of this corporate job. I want to be able to have my own job, freedom, flexibility, to be able to seek harder more, and also, to live the life of your dreams. Why not, right? Does that help answer that?
I love it. Yes. So what was the first thing that you did after that, after you set the goal? Walk us through, right when you set the goal and you wake up the next day, now all of a sudden you've got this big fat goal on your plate, then what?
Okay, so the first thing is I was too dumb to doubt. So I think that's really important. Is I had done direct sales before in another company. And even though I probably had a lot of that experience and could take that experience here, I also knew that there was a lot I didn't know. And I think that was key for me, because I think I go through times where I'm like, I should know this. Maybe I shouldn't reach out. Like, I'll just figure it out on my own. And I really made a decision that I'm going to be like a baby, and I'm literally just going to be like, Z, I have no idea what I'm doing. Just tell me what to do and I'll do it. I trust you. I trust the process. I'm too dumb to doubt. And that was my first step. And when I set that goal, I will tell you, the moment I set it, I was like, all the doubt, all the fears, like everything immediately was like, oh my gosh, can you do this? It's really quick. Like, how are you going to get there? You know, who are you going to talk to? I mean, literally immediately I was frozen. But I will say that knowing that and being through that before, I reached up to Z, like anytime I was feeling like, oh, what should I do? And so we took that big goal of diamond and we broke it down into bite-sized pieces. So instead of just saying my goal is diamond, it was like, okay, you know, what is my goal for the week? What is my goal for the day? You know, the first step's emerald. When am I going to do that by? And I missed that emerald goal, I think our original date a couple times, you know, but I just kept, you know, I set that date, I would work towards it, and then I would just keep resetting the date and stay focused on that, but not just focus on like diamond. It was more the steps getting there.
Jen, tell us a little bit about like your time, you know, so how much time did you spend, and then how did you allocate that time, and what did you do in the time that you had specifically?
So I have found that the busier you are, the more it seems easier. It sounds weird. Like you think like, I'm so busy, I don't have time, I don't know how I'm going to do this. But I've always worked really well on having an insane schedule and getting a lot more accomplished. So what I did in the beginning, because I was still working and I'm on my own, is I did 1 hour in the morning before I left for work. For me, I was like, you know, if I could just get messages sent out, like I would have really strong Facebook post, because I love the beauty of Facebook and just sharing your heart. And I'm someone who tends to be a little guarded and a little more reserved as far as just putting my thoughts and feelings out there. And so that is what I did first. I was like, you know what, I'm just like, kind of, who cares what people think? I'm just going to be real. So, so time wise, what I did is I knew if I could get a really good post out in the morning and start kind of working through that. And then also I would send out invites. So I'm like, you know what, I'm going to be busy throughout the day, but if I can kind of work smarter, not harder, like you put that post up, you comment under it, people are watching, they're talking to you. And then I would send out, I started with 10 invites in the morning, and then I did an hour at night, and I would do 10 invites at night. So the invites from the night would come from the post that was working for me throughout the day. And then of course I did follow-ups, but I only did 1 hour in the morning and 1 hour at night. And because another goal with my old business, I was working 24/7. Like I never turned it off. My phone was on me all the time. And so this time around, you know, Z's like, you don't have to do that. Like you can still be successful and have evenings to yourself or weekends. Now, of course, this goal being as fast as it was, I knew that there was going to be some short-term sacrifices. So I did work some weekends. But the time management is for sure key, because what I think is really cool is it showed me that you really can accomplish a ton in literally like an hour in the morning and an hour at night.
On the same path of time, Jen, talk about spending time, how much spending time doing action, and then also training.
Okay, so this is a thing that I see paralyzed when I was working with my team before, and I would see paralyzed newbies, is you get in that training mindset of like, okay, well, I'm not going to set this goal until I feel like I know what I'm doing. And I think a lot of people are afraid to build. I have always loved recruiting. Like it's just my thing. I love having people on my team. I love working with a team. I think it's more fun. I mean, you do it by yourself, or you could have like a team. It's way more fun. And so I think where I see people get stuck is, well, I don't think I want to recruit, or I'm afraid to recruit because I have no idea what in the world I'm doing. Like, I don't feel like I'm a good coach. I don't feel like I know everything. And so, you know, I don't know if I want to bring someone on my team, and then what do I do with them? And, but I think honestly, the best training is hands-on. Hands down, hands-on training is the best. Like I can sit on the computer and I can look up all this stuff and watch videos and you know, try to learn like every perfect way. But first of all, if you do too much training, I honestly think you become a robot. You're very boring. You're just like, okay, so here's what's in Shakeology and da 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 da. And like, that's really cool. And people, they love learning about things, but honestly, they could care less what you know. They just want to know you care. So I would say like 10% of my time has been training. No joke. Like literally even this week, I'm still like, oh, there's Fixate. You can see a cooking show. Like there's so many things I don't even know because I've been so focused on action. So it's funny now, but that's what I would say is like 10% training, 90% action. All the rest will come with experience. And I've totally said stupid things to people and didn't follow up, or, I mean, I've made a lot of mistakes along the way, but don't get so in the mindset of I need to know everything before I start.
So during the last like 2 to 3 months, was there ever a point where you're like, I'm not gonna be able to do this, like nothing's working the way I want? And if so, how did you get over it?
So it goes back to sort of like the training thing, but also where like this business, and I mean, most things in life are 90% mindset, 10% skill, and your mind will mess with you big time. Like even me who have, I've had success in other businesses, and we all have goals that we've reached, and like there's certain things you've been able to accomplish. But you go through that motion where I would say, just to be real, like the first 20 days, I think my first 20 days I sold like 2 challenge packs. Like it was not exciting at all. Like it was horrible. And I felt like I'm sending so many messages. Like I'd reach out to Z and I'm like, I do not understand. Like I have literally every morning and every night wrote people, and I, was either getting objections or, not right now, maybe next month, there was just a lot of that. And so of course, when that happens and you're not getting yeses, you immediately are like, why am I doing this? Like, is it even worth it? Like, this is frustrating. Like I would, message her on Messenger and just be like, oh my God, like, this is not exciting. Like nothing is happening. But the good news is part of our vital behaviors is personal development. And so for me, the moment I started having those frustrating moments, what I would suggest is you want to have someone, first of all, that you can reach out to, like when you're frustrated, of like, hey, here's how I'm feeling, not to vent. That's a difference. Not like I'm having a bad day and here's what's happening in my personal life. But, when you're having moments of doubt, like 100% always reach up. But also pop on something personal development. I have a whole playlist of motivational music and YouTube. Like if you just YouTube like motivational anything really, like mindset stuff. I mean, I would just put my headphones in and I'm like, okay, here goes. And then you get all pumped up and you're like, I'm awesome again. Beachbody's awesome. Like all the, like you just go through the motions. But what happened is, because I did those 20 days, 30 days when not a lot was happening, if you stay patient with the process, you just have to know that sometimes you're planting seeds, sometimes you're harvesting seeds, and sometimes you're planting, then you harvest, then you water. And so it's like, just keep going. Like that's the worst thing you can do is just stop because you're not getting results. But when you stop, you go backwards. So if you can just like, even though I'm not getting results right now, just focus on your activity, because then the next month, all that work I had done, it, completely, momentum is there because of that.
I want to jump in too, you guys, because when I have a coach that I'm working with, if they're not sending invites and they're not seeing success, I'm like, whatever, they know why they're not, so it's no big deal. But Jen was sending so many invites and not getting anywhere in the first month. And I remember like, I kept saying, I was like, oh my God, she's going to totally quit this girl. And she's done all this work and nothing's happening. So I will tell you guys, her first like 30 days, she kept telling me how many messages she's sending. And I'm like, oh my God, would something please crack for her? Like I'm getting frustrated, not because I don't believe in her, but because I was really worried she's going to quit. But if she had, then it wouldn't have all came back as payback now. Like all of that work before, it does come back. The problem a lot of times is that we give up because we don't see the success in the moment, and we have to continue doing those activities that in the moment feel like they're getting us nowhere. So I was actually worried at that point as well. And I would say if you're working with a coach, if you're a leader, make sure that coach is doing the personal development. Because I think every time we did talk, that was like the light at the end of the tunnel, was she would always do that personal development or reach out to me. She didn't go dark on me. Because it's hard as a leader to see your new coach putting so much work in and not seeing the payback right away, because we want that success for them too. So remember that, guys. Make sure they're showing up even when they're frustrated. Because if she had gone dark, that would have been a bad sign, and I was worried about it as well, right? Okay, let's see. So you mentioned this earlier, Jen, but I want you to talk about it a little bit more. And that's recruiting a team before you've seen success. Like, and maybe you can give us like some actual word tracks. What would you say to people, considering you've only been doing this 10, 20, 30, 40 days? How did you sell the dream of what you believed in?
I think that number one is belief. Like, you have to believe it. Like, if you yourself feel that challenge packs are too expensive, or, you know, this program doesn't really work, or coaching is hard, or, you know, all these things, if you don't have the belief, like, no one's going to want to be a part of your team, because when you reach out to people, you know, you're just kind of doing it because it's on your checklist. Like, oh, I guess I should share the opportunity, but you're not authentic and you're not exciting. And so, you know, they'll sense that from you. So I think, like, really, you know, deciding, like, well, why did I, kind of going back to your why of, like, why did I decide to be a coach? What excited me from the beginning? Like, get back that feeling that you had and the reason you had it from the beginning, to believe it, because it's going to make it that much more exciting and that much more real. So number one, belief. Number two, vision. You're going to build a team if you're going somewhere. Like, you have to have a goal in sight, whatever that goal is, that you can share with the people that you're recruiting, because people want to be a part of something bigger than themselves. And they also want to be like, people want to be a part of, you know, something that's moving. And you kind of have to have this mindset of, it's the difference between scarcity and abundance mindset. So scarcity is, I have this list of 10 people I would love to have on my team. You reach out to them, and let's say, like, all the people you're so excited about, you thought they were going to join, like, none of them join. And sometimes we get so caught up on, like, chasing one person. They're like, oh, they're going to be so fabulous, I want them on my team. But I think for me, I decided I'm going to share it with everyone. I'm going to offer it to everyone. And not in a, hey, you want to join and get a discount, because, you know, I'm here for life. Like, I'm not just trying to build a bunch of discount coaches either. I mean, of course, there's a few people on my team, like family members, that do it that way. But even they're selling without realizing. But, you know, you have to have a really strong vision, because when I'm reaching out to people, at first I did it the wrong way. I was like, all I need is, like, gym, you know, people that are fitness people, like only fitness people, they're going to be awesome coaches, personal trainers, and, you know, all these things. And so I had to think about, okay, that wasn't working, because they, you know, it just wasn't as successful for me. So what I did is, I'm like, you know what, I'm going to just think about not necessarily what people are doing or why I think they would be good, but, you know, what are the qualities? Like, you have to have a vision, not only of your goal, but a vision of what you want your team to look like. So I think that is step one, is being crystal clear on, like, okay, what's my brand? Like, what defines me, and what do I want my team to be defined by? And so for me, I quit looking for, you know, just fitness people. I still for sure reach out to fitness people, because I think they're awesome, but I wasn't just in that little mindset of, like, that's only, now it's like, okay, who's the busy people? Who's the hard, like, number one is, I don't care if you have no idea about fitness or no idea about Beachbody, or you've never been in sales. Like, that doesn't matter to me, because skills can be taught, but it's attitude. Like, you know, I want positive people, not people that complain all the time. I want go-getters. I want people who, like, are willing to work hard, because they know that it's not a get-rich-quick thing. You know, something, of course, want to make some money and build a team too. So when I'm reaching out to people, you know, I initially will be talking to them about, you know, the challenge and what we have going on, but I kind of always just go with my gut. Like, you'll get to a point where you're in a conversation and they'll start asking you about, like, what you're doing or a little bit about the challenge. And sometimes you just get this, like, like, I feel like I should just ask her. And I mean, what's the worst thing that can happen? They say no. So I literally will be talking to someone like my cousin, for example, who's on my team now. And I just reached out to her and I was like, hey girl, you know, I'm I don't know if you know this is totally random, but I became a virtual health and fitness coach, and I'm having a ton of fun with it. And I was making a list of the top 10 people that I would love to have on my team. Like I made a list, top 10, here's the people I want to build my team with first, and you're at the top of the list. And here's why. And I told her, I was like, you know, I know you're hardworking. You've always been really determined. I think we would have a total blast together. Would you be open to hearing more? And that's what and she wrote back, oh my gosh, yeah, like tell me more about it, you know? And so that's kind of, I don't have like a specific, like I always say the same thing to everyone, but it's along the lines of, I think about what qualities I love about them. I tell them, you know, how excited I am. And then I'm just like, hey, would you be open to hearing more? And again, if they're like, no, thanks, what, you know, I just keep asking because I mean, I myself said no to this opportunity plenty of times. So don't let no stop you, but just ask everyone.
Okay, so this is like one of my favorite questions I'm going to ask you, or topics. And I think a lot of the coaches that have been around a little bit are going to want to hear this, and then new coaches are going to experience it. So on the lines of the 80-20 rule, tell me about this situation. You recruit coaches, you've got a team, and nobody on your team wants to work the business like you do. What do you do?
I love this question. I'm glad you brought it up because it was on my mind and I wanted to talk to you guys because this will help, I think, relieve a lot of frustration that us as coaches go through on your team. Because what I've learned, something that's really helped me in the past, I used to like, you know, I would have someone I really want on my team and I would, you know, they're going to be so awesome. And I would really, really like make this huge expectation of what it was going to look like even before they joined. And so then they would join and I'd be so excited and it's going to be great. And then like, you know, a week later, they're like, I don't know if I want to do this anymore. And so I think that number one, you can't let emotions, you know, like I kind of want to be like 72, like we always say like 72 degrees, like not too hot and not too cold. And action, like I have to see action before I get, like I'm excited when people join my team and I'm thrilled and I can't wait to work with them, but I don't connect so much emotion into them because what happens is when you do and they decide they don't want to do it, then we're like depressed for 4 days and like it's really, really hard on you. So the 80-20 rule also to know is they say that 20% of your team, and this is like, I've seen it in all different sales settings completely like through the years, 20% of your team is going to do 80% of the work. So let's say right now you have, and the smaller the team, it's probably going to be you working. Even like as a diamond, you have, you know, 8 personal people, they each have 2 people under them. So 20% would be like 2 people. Well, when your team's smaller, you might have 1 to 2. And so I think just always remembering that, like, if I want to see, you know, because we think like, oh, why is my whole team not excited and they don't want to all work and I don't understand, like, I don't get it. It's, you know, your team is just not big enough. Like, it just, you don't have enough people and then it won't frustrate you because 80% of the people are just going to do it for fun or for a hobby or a little extra money on the side, but it's maybe not something that they're going to do, you know, as big as maybe you're going to do, but just know like it only takes one person to start a movement. So it doesn't matter like if you only have one person, I promise you, because that one person can bring you like, it's insane. So it's just my favorite analogy is it's called the bathtub analogy when it comes to building your team. So you want to always be in motion. So you want to think of it like this, like if you're building your team and you have a bathtub of water and you stop recruiting. So you get to diamond. Like I don't want people to, I think it's really important to also know, like if my goal is diamond, I don't just get there and then it's like, woohoo, I'm diamond, this is so awesome. And then you stop working because then all your work is just going to get cold. Like you're filling a bathtub of water. When you stop working, it's like plugging the water and the water just sits there. And first of all, it's freezing. And second of all, it's when people get complacent. Like you always want to have some like, you know, action and movement going. So imagine if you have the water turned on and you have the plug unplugged. So the plug unplugged represents the people are going to come and go. It's completely a normal process. People are here with in your life. What do they say? For like a reason, a season, and a lifetime. So you're going to have some people who are like, this is so awesome for a few months, and then they move on. So they're like going down, like they're out. But your water is turned on. So you have that hot water flowing in constantly. And that's all the new people that are coming in. So I think just always reminding yourself that like, it's okay if 80% of my team is, maybe not working as much because I only need, this 20%. And again, it could be like one person. And I think you just have to focus on leading yourself first. And if you share with enough people and you talk to enough people, like those leaders are gonna, you're gonna meet them eventually for sure.
Guys, this is probably like the most important thing I think out of everything that was shared today. I want to share just a little bit about something on my numbers in case you guys don't know this. Not one coach that got me to Diamond when I got to Diamond is with me today. Not one person. Not one. And you have to believe this. If your team doesn't share your vision, then you get a new team. And I don't mean you kick your team out. I'm just saying you keep recruiting until you double it from 8 to 16 coaches. And then you add 8 more. You just keep growing your team. Because for me, my first year, I want to say, or year and a half, our team got up to over 100 coaches. But the coaches that are here today that work this business with me, none of you were even in my life in the first year. You were. I didn't even know you in the first year. Not one of you guys that I work with today. Besides my husband. That's really the only one that ever stuck. So think about that, because we get so focused on those people that aren't working that you don't realize your coach might not be there yet. And you could get lucky and one of your very first. Like I think about my coach, Serena. I was one of her first coaches and Audrey was, and we were both her Diamond. So she met her coaches early on. But then later on, right? Like if you think about it, a lot of the people that came into her life later didn't stick around. With me, it was kind of the opposite. All my initial ones, like nobody is still here besides my husband, right? And he's in a contract, so he can't go anywhere. But no one, not one of those people that got me to Diamond or even further than that, like they all, goodbye. And people might come back, but you just can't focus on that. So I think out of everything, like what Jen just shared is so, so important to remember. And 20% of your team right now is not even one person, if you think about it, right? It's not even 2 people, sorry. So it really is just you working. So don't think of yourself as a failure as a leader if you can't get your first 8 people or even your first 20 people to do anything. My first training calls, you guys, nobody would show up. Or like one time I think I had like one coach. I just kept running the meetings. I was like, I'm still going to show up on the calls. We'd have training calls and like nobody came. So do not feel discouraged and blame yourself as a leader. Okay. Jen, my final question for you, and then you can talk, if I missed anything, you can keep going, but my final question is now what?
Now what?
Now what?
So, yeah. So now I would say, like I had shared earlier, is whenever you have a goal in front of you and you reach your goal, the biggest mistake that I've personally made in the past, or I've seen other people make, is you work so hard to get to that goal and you're like, and you hit it, and then you don't immediately set another goal with a timeline. So now that's what I've done. I'm like, okay, awesome. I made to Diamond. Now 1-star Diamond, when do I want to do that by? And who is going to be my next leader? And who am I going to help do what I just did? And the cool thing is I have someone on my team that might even break the record of mine. So I think that's awesome, and so yeah, always have a goal in front of you. The biggest, I think people are afraid to set goals because they don't want to fail. I mean, we all probably have I think it's pretty normal to have a fear of failure or a fear of success. But I think the biggest mistake is not setting a goal and not making it. It's setting a goal and then not, like if you don't make it by the date, not resetting the goal. So I think I see way more people do that and fail, not because they missed, but because they're like, all right, well, I suck, I'm failing. My goal was, because my original goal for Diamond was November 1st. And I didn't, I think technically, I don't know what date it was that I ended up doing it. I forget, I think last Sunday. But it was like, because I think number one, when you are setting a goal, don't set a goal so big that it's like completely unreachable, but don't set comfortable goals either. Because like you've got to stretch yourself constantly. And I think really it's also important to always have like a sense of urgency. So if you're like, I want to be diamond in a year, because you are afraid of how you're going to get there, what it might look like, it's probably going to take you longer because it's just such a long time frame, and people can sense when you have a sense of urgency. And I think that's also helped me grow fast and do it fast, is because they can hear it in my tone of voice when I'm talking to them, like, we're moving, we're going places, here's what I'm doing, you can be a part of this, it's awesome. So yeah, the now what is set another goal. And then another thing I was going to share too is adaptability. Z and I had all these perfect plans of here's what it's going to look like. Here's my dream diamond team, who's going to join. And, we'd have it mapped out. And, here's what I'm going to be doing every day to get there. And there were plenty of obstacles and plenty of things that would happen that I wasn't expecting. And so I think it's really important to have like plan A, plan B, plan C, plan D, and just be okay if the first plan doesn't work. Because I think that's another thing is like you'll have a plan and it doesn't work and all your expectations and everything is like shattered on the ground because you're like, well, I don't even know what to do now because that all my eggs were in that basket and that's how it was going to happen. And now it's all fallen apart. So I think like I had, maybe I have it beside me. I'm like, maybe I do. I probably do. So I printed out this diamond sheet. As you can see, mine's like a huge mess, but that's what you want. So I constantly,
if you guys need that, the new coaches are getting it in their packet.
Okay.
But for those of you that don't have that, it's in the files section of Team Inspired on our Facebook page.
So I printed like multiple copies of this, and I would, before I even had anyone on my team, I filled in every box, like who would be my dream team people. So I filled it all out. These are going to be on my team. And those, of course, are the people I reached out about it first. And some of them were challengers first. And then as they saw results and changes, then I'm like, hey, by the way, like, are you open to hearing a little bit more about the coaching side of things? But for me, I did erasable pens that Z suggested. So I'd fill it out every day. And every morning I would like pull it out and look at it and go, okay, where am I at? Who am I, like real people that are on my team? And then as people were joining my team, I would have a certain color for them. And then literally like every person beside them had a cushion. Like I think that you earn diamond by 8 personal people and then 2 emeralds under you, but you don't want to also just think like all I need is 12. Like you want to always think bigger and okay, how am I going to get 20? Think bigger because you're not going to feel so desperate if one leaves and oh my gosh, I don't have anyone. So I literally would write out people, and then beside them, as I was talking to people, I would put little boxes with their name. And then on this side, I would have like more people, so just the constant overflow of people that I was talking to. And then this was just in front of me all the time of like, okay, where are we at? But like I said, I mean, things change. It was like, okay, this person's going to be on the left side. And then I called Z, I'm like, I don't know, that's not going to work. So we were just constantly like, erase, plan B. Okay, erase that, plan C, so just learn to be really adaptable. You're going to get a lot less frustration and just be like, it's okay if the first way I thought it was going to go didn't go that way, just keep going and change it up and try a different way.
I'm pretty sure besides your family, Jen, everybody that we thought was a go did not happen. It was replaced by somebody else. Like we had so many people that you're like, she said, yes, she's going to do it. She's going to do it. And then they go dark on her, like totally disappear after that. So by the end, when it actually happened, besides your mom and dad, I think everybody else was not the original plan at all. It might've been switched 2 to 3 times. And then our very first coach, we had to end up replacing after everything was said and done. And she hit diamond, like everything was there, but it hadn't shown up in the system yet. The very first person she signed went inactive and she had to replace them. So it's like, once it actually like all happened, all of a sudden then it was taken away 2 days later and we had to haul ass before Thursday, excuse me if your kids are around, to do that again. So be prepared that like even when you get it set in motion, it might go away, right? Like that's why that backup plan is so important. because she actually hit on Saturday, actually. And then Wednesday night, close to midnight, her time, which is the cutoff, we were on the phone again because that coach was inactive and she signed someone last minute. So just always have that backup plan, because you might think everything's going smooth and everything looks good, and your coach that is like actually the most excited out of everybody ends up being the one that goes inactive. That literally is what happened. So be prepared for a lot of letdowns, and have a backup plan, and have a backup plan for the backup plan. And another one, like I always call it Plan Z, because the alphabet and my name. And I'm like, I got my plan A, my plan B. And Todd's like, but do you have a plan Z? I'm like, I don't want to do it. It's like not the plan you want to take usually, because it's like the harder of them all, but always have that final plan. And she did, because like I said, at the very last minute, it was so frustrating. Do you remember how frustrated we were? She's like,
I'm tired.
I was like, just go to bed, Jen. It's so late for you. Like it was only 9. It was like 8:30 for me. She's like, I'm not going to bed. It was,
yeah, I'm like, I did not come this far to only come this far. Right. You know, that's what I tell myself a lot. And what I was going to say, I totally just lost my train of thought. But, it was like, yeah, I think we talked about Z and I, it was like, I felt like I had just ran a marathon, and then I finished the race, and then she's like, 1 more mile. And it's like, you're like, oh my God, like I cannot do anything else. Like that is how I was like, I have worked, you know, really hard on this, and you think you're there and you're like, ooh, this is so exciting. And then, you know, you wake up and you're like, oh, I keep going. And so, yeah, every part of me was just like, I don't think I have it in me to like, you know, keep running, but you just do it anyway. And, you know, it's totally worth it. So again, I just put in the little motivational, not little, but the awesome motivational music again, and was like, all right, well, here we go. I'm going to continue on this race. And like Z said, I mean, it was like midnight. And I did, you know, my final coach, there's times too, like, I think it's really cool. People want to be a part of something and they want to help. And there's definitely times where I tell them, I'm like, hey, I'm working on breaking a really big record. I know we've talked about, you know, this coaching thing before, or you being a part of my team. Like if you ever thought about doing it, today is the day, you know, because here's where I'm at and I only need one more person. And, you know, that makes, they love, you know, people love that, like to know that like they were that person that helped you get there. And then that was big for me too. What I'll say is when I first started with Z, I know, you know, having been in this type of business before and being a leader of a top team and knowing that, you know, as a leader, sometimes it's hard to ask for help of your team because you're like, I don't want this goal to seem like it's all about me, and you don't want to come across selfish. But I also remember like there was things I had going on that I didn't always share. But then every time I would share with the team, like most of the people were like, okay, like what do we need to do? You know, again, the 20%, not all 80%. So that's what I did too. I was like, all right, Z, like, what are your goals? Like, what do you have going on and how can I help support you? Because you want to be that person too, you know, it's like a servant leader. And that also like really motivated me to know, like, not only am I working on this goal for myself and my, you know, what I have written down for what I want for my life, but like to be able to make a difference for someone else and do it in a big way.
It's funny you said that because I just wrote down share your goal. You guys, I mean, Jen could have set any time for Diamond and she's brand new and has no clue, and she could have easily set 6 months or whatever. When she asked me how can I help, I was kind of reluctant. I'm like, do I tell this brand new coach like this is how you could help, you know? And I didn't want to be that leader that asks someone for help, but at the same time, I also knew she wants that. Like she wants to be a leader on the team. She wants to be part of something bigger. So I did share it. And it's really changed my mindset on sharing your goals with everybody. And it doesn't mean you tell every single person, I need you to do this. Like she was ready. She was ready to do it. And she wanted the challenge. And so I said, I was like, if you hit Diamond by this date, our team will go elite. You know, I was like, I have to do my part, but if you did this, we will hit it. But one thing I will say, recruiting, she shared that she has a goal to hit Diamond. I've shared all year that I want to take this team to elite. People want to be part of something. I don't even think Jen would have joined me. By the way, she's known 5 other Beachbody coaches before me. And every single one of them, I'm pretty sure is ranked higher than me in this company. Like ranked high, you guys. if I had not shared with Jen that I have this big elite goal, like whether or not she was going to be a part of it when she first talked to me, you want to know that if you're going to join someone's team, that they have goals. And so when you are recruiting, if you don't have a goal, why would somebody want to join you? That's very confusing for people. So make sure you're telling people, you know, I've been in this business for a year. I've been in this business for a month. I've been in this business 2 years. It doesn't matter. I'm going to do some really big things. I'm really excited and passionate about what's happening, and I want you to be a part of this. That sounds a lot more exciting to people than someone that's like, yeah, like I'm kind of just reaching out, seeing if you want to do something. People want vision. So share your goal. It doesn't even just have to be like a rank goal, like diamond. It's just, I'm building an exciting team. I'm building a top team. When you use those words, people are going to want to join you. If I know that Stacy, you're gonna be creating a top team here, it's like, I want to be a part of that. There's major FOMO. I mean, capitalize on that. People have that feeling of like, oh, she's gonna do this and I'm gonna miss out on it. So share that goal, even if you're brand spanking new.
And you just made me remember something too that I want to remind you guys of, is persistence pays off. Because I'm a pretty dominant personality, like you know, especially, and I'm also very busy. So when Z and I connected on LinkedIn, we didn't know each other, and she reached out. And so this also gives you hope for the people that maybe have ghosted you or ignoring you or not responding to you. And we get also in that mindset of like, well, they didn't respond, so I guess they're not interested, I'm moving on, or I don't want to be pushy, or, you know, I don't want to drive them crazy. Well, the issue that I see is when you're afraid of being pushy and bugging people, what will happen is you're going to come across really timid and really like nervous, like, hey girl, sorry to bug you. And like, no one like, that's annoying, even of itself. When someone says like, sorry to bug you, I'm always like, oh my gosh, like, I don't know. So like for me, I'm a lot more impressed with someone who is persistent. I mean, she would write me like, how's your day go? Da, da, da. We'd be talking or whatever. And then I would kind of go silent because I would be working with my team during the day. And then she would just reach out again. And like, I remember like holding my phone and I'd look down and she's like, so anyway, what I was saying was, and like, I laugh about it now, but it was really funny because I was just like, this girl is serious, you know, and people need to see that. Like they need to know that, you know, you're going after something and you're serious about it, but not in an annoying way. Like, you know, hey, did you get my message? Hey, what's going on? Are you there? You know, not like that. But she was just like going with the flow, like real cool, like asking me questions about me and my goals and what I wanted from, you know, the challenge, or just, you know, things in general. But she was really persistent. Like I think she originally reached out to me in June or July. I can't remember. And then I ended up, you know, I didn't even join until the end of August. So, but it was because like she was very persistent. And then, you know, she had a big goal. Like, I mean, I knew that she was hardworking and she was, you know, like the type of person that I would want to be on their team. But, you know, even in times where I'm like, I don't know, do I want to do this? I'm unsure. Boom, a message would come through. So, you know, just know that if people are saying no, or they're giving reasons why they might not be able to do it right now, as long as you're consistently posting, because I would see Z's posts pop up on Facebook. And so it was like, she was in my face, like always. I was like, there's another post, you know? So just know that for yourself, like just stay consistent with what you're doing with your posts and with the people that you're sharing with. But don't give up on certain people just because maybe they don't seem excited right now, or they're unsure of what they want to do. Z was persistent, but she wasn't like desperate, I guess I would say. Like she wasn't like, please join, you need to do it by tonight, like, or else like life is over. Like she was just she was really cool about it. So that just maybe reminded me of that.
You want people to know you want them to be part of your movement, but the movement's happening with or without them. Like, yeah. I'm going to do this with or without you, but I'd love for you to be a part of it. That's kind of the attitude you want to have about this, is like, if you don't join me, I'm still going to be a top coach, but I'd love for you to be part of that with me. And people will feel good when you present it like that to them. All right, guys, this was I feel like I got so much out of it, because whether you're diamond or not, it really doesn't matter. The heart of this is actually just building a team. That's actually everything that Jen shared with us today. And no matter how big your team gets, you want to continue building your team. If I were to stop recruiting on my team, I would never have met all of you guys, because none of you were in my life at all. I didn't even know you. Like, actually, besides my sister who's on this call, I didn't know any of you existed in my first year as a coach. So you want to meet other people, and no matter where you're at, whether you're a brand new coach, an emerald, a diamond, a 5-star diamond, you want to grow your team. So I feel like that's what I got out of this call, was excitement to keep building my team. I want to open it up to you guys and hear if anybody on the call has any questions, comments, anything that you'd like more info on. I unmuted you all.
You know, I have a comment regarding goals and objectives. As a therapist, because that's what I do for a living, we use something called SMART goals, which are specific, measurable, attainable, realistic, and time limited. And those are the kinds of goals that people can find success with. And I found, even with my small child, so I have a 3.5-year-old in the other room, when I set a goal for him that is very small, for example, he's scared of going upstairs by himself because we have a 300-year-old farmhouse. And today I said, I'm going to stand at the bottom of the stairs and you're going to run up and get your transformer by yourself and you're going to come back down. And it was very specific. It was very little. He came back down. He called his grandmother and bragged about how he went up by himself. So I think even if they seem silly, those kinds of small goals are so important to find success in ourselves.
I love that. I love that.
That's awesome.
Don't assume that your goal is silly. If it's something that you're, and recognize that success too, I think is really important. Like, you know, calling his grandma, you know, it's recognizing success was there. I love that. Anybody else? Even maybe a question that you think your coaches might benefit from when they listen to this video later?
I think I want to know how it's going to move forward. I want to understand how ranks work, how I've had a few people actually interested and reaching out already. And I'm like, I don't know what to do with them, and I send Adrian a text and I'm like, help, I have success.
Here's what I will say, and I'll let Jen hop into, and then Hibbs, I know you're raising your hand, so it looks like you probably can't talk yet, but I'll chat with you in just a moment. You are like 2 days into training, so we will cover it. But at the same time, I would say just keep saying help. Like Jen was messaging me every day, pictures of her and Stacy and Jen both, and I think Kristen's on the line. It's funny, the three of them, all of you guys did that in the beginning, a ton of it. And it's funny, they're always worried, like, oh my God, I'm sending you so much stuff. My coaches that don't do it end up disappearing. They never keep the business. And the three that are, those three right now, would screenshot the conversation and send it to me.
Daddy? Mommy?
Sorry.
That's okay. So even Adrian actually has done a lot of this and still does it because she's still pretty new. It screenshots the convo and literally going, help, what do I say? What do I do? So just ask for help. Don't feel like you even need to know the answer at all. I mean, Jen was sending me like maybe 10 screenshots a day. I think Stacy, you were probably, when you first started, same thing, like 10, Kristen, all of you guys. And they would send me a picture of their post and be like, what do you think of this? Don't be scared to, and then also on our new coach training page, you can post a picture of the combo there because Adrian is pretty new as well, and just be like, hey guys, what do I say to this? And we can help you. And Jen, would you say anything different to that?
Yeah, I think that, I kept telling myself, because I had done something similar, that I should, at first I was like, I should know this. And I wasn't at first reaching out on those conversations because I'm like, I've sold before, so I don't feel like it should be that challenging. I should know what to say and all that. But then when I was not getting results, then I'm like, you know what? Okay, who cares? Throw everything else out. I'm just gonna be a little baby. And even if these are really stupid questions, seem like very simple conversations, it shouldn't be that complicated. But I'm like, you know what? Z's been doing this for a while. Clearly, she probably has some awesome word tracks. And it's really cool because I definitely at first was sending a lot. And I'm like, and part of me was like, this is probably driving her crazy. And I don't want to waste her time. But because I did that, now, every once in a while I'm sending her one, but for the majority, it's awesome because now I have, these really great responses and, I'm a lot more comfortable with the process. But for sure, don't be afraid to reach up because if you don't, you're just going to get frustrated if you're not getting results.
Hibbs, are you able to talk or not? I'm unmuting you. I can't unmute you. Okay, can you type?
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Oh, awesome. Okay, I figured it out. That's awesome. Okay. Hi, guys. I'm Hibbs. I'm Z's sister. So Jen, oh my gosh, you were amazing. Thank you so much for all that lovely insight, and it was great. And I just wanted to offer something. You kind of got my mind spinning, and so I'm sure none of you really know very much about me, but I wasn't an MLM prior to Beachbody. I did cheat on Z for a little bit, but I joined the movement of Beachbody, and just a little bit of some of the research I did when I was in a different MLM and then in sales for the last 14 years. I think in our life, one of the biggest fears, of course, is the idea of rejection. And Jen, you touched on that. And I mean, I'll attest even in my personal life, right? Like my love life, the fear of rejection stops us sometimes from doing so much. And it kind of cripples us. But I've done the math a million times, and tell me if I'm wrong, please. But I've found out there's only 5 outcomes of any ask in your life. So you ask somebody to be a part of your team. You ask somebody to go out with you. You ask somebody to be your friend, whatever it might be, right? There's only 5 outcomes. The first scenario, which is actually the most beautiful one, it's when you build a brand for yourself that is so, it speaks for itself. So somebody comes up to you, somebody reaches out to you and says, hey, I've heard about you and what you're doing. I want to be a part of it. So that's an immediate yes. You didn't even have to do any work. Your brand and your reputation has built itself, right? So that's that. There's no rejection there. The second scenario is you ask somebody to be a part of your movement or whatever it might be, and immediately they are on board. That's all the work it takes. That's no rejection, right? You get a yes. Third scenario is you ask somebody and they're not sure, they feel uncomfortable, they don't feel quite confident about joining, and then you try a little bit harder, you come with a different approach, and you win them over. So again, that scenario is not rejection. You have a yes right there. Fourth scenario is, you talk to them about what you believe in, what you love, and you ask them to join, and they're still not quite sure, so they say, let me think about it, give me some time. Well, it's not a no. It's potentially a yes for later, but it's definitely not a no, and there's always room. The door is still open, right? It's that fifth scenario that freaks us out every time and makes us run for the hills, and it's literally when you ask for something, and they look at you and they say, I hate you, I hate MLMs, you've ruined my life, I never want to see you again, and you freak out, and it's that, and if you think about it, that one no is a 20% shot of rejection. So out of 100%, out of the 5 tries, there's only a 20% negative return. But that's not a bad negative return. That's an 80% positive return rate, which in our life, I would offer that, I mean, with my heart, when it comes to dating, I think I've gone into things with a 20% positive return rate, hopeful and willing, right? So we do it so many times in our life, but we're so afraid of that no that we run away. So if you think about it, to have an 80% positive return on something should be enough of a reason to never fear that one possible no. But Jen, you made me think about that. And so I just wanted to offer that. And I'm just excited to be a part of such a positive team. And so thank you so much.
That was awesome. I've never really heard it said like that before. So I love that. It's definitely looking at no's a whole lot different. I've because it's true. It's like 20%, so that's really cool.
Sorry, guys, I'm muted. Thank you. All right, that was fabulous. Everyone who participated, Jen, thank you so much for a lot of very clear insight on what you did to get to Diamond and what you're doing to grow your team, because I know you have much bigger goals than stopping right here. And I think your next one is about to happen any second, which is really exciting. All right, you guys, I'm gonna get off the phone because we've kept you here over an hour and I appreciate it. We're gonna save this training because I think we can use it for so many of our coaches. And other than that, I will see you guys on Team Inspired with the updates that I talked about earlier on the call. Have a great week. Let's finish the month strong. We still have over 10 days of the month. So whatever your goals are, you absolutely can still achieve them. All right, guys, have a great week. Thanks for hopping on. Bye, team.
Bye.